Ayan. So for today, our topic is all about the first law of thermodynamics, and we'll be following the following agenda. So first of all, of course, since first pa lang natin to nabanggit, so introduction muna, followed by some class rules, then our grading system, then finally our lesson proper. So in case you're not familiar with me, so I am Sir Carlo. So I am a chemical engineer. So I graduated in 2012 and I'm also taking my master's in chemistry as well. So you may contact me via the following na email address or also through my FB using the name Carlo Bringas. So that is how you can contact me, guys. So class rules para sa ating klase. So we have the following. So you might have already read sa K-Hub, but I'll reiterate this one again to you. So our sync session, it will be conducted 1 hour after the scheduled time. So since our scheduled time is 1 o'clock, so we expect na ating sync session will commonly be around 2 p.m. So the purpose of this is to allow you to be able to go over ang lesson for today so you can read in advance and you can also be able to submit as well anything else that you need to submit for our particular na klase. Now, our sync session, it will be conducted via Google Meet. So ito na siyang ating link for the entire school year. The attendance will be checked every synchronous session. So I'm still collecting your attendance right now. If you haven't filled it up, kindly check the chat box for that one. And also the schedule could possibly change if, for instance, the teachers might possibly have a meeting. So it's possible now we'd have to do the sync session earlier than 2 p.m. depending on whatever is going on with our teacher. So our asynchronous tasks, all of it will be done via K-Hub. So all your quizzes, all your assessments and exams, all of them are administered via the K-Hub platform. Also, third rule, so students are encouraged to reach out and ask questions via the class group chat or through the discussion forums in K-Hub. Now, please take note, guys. So your teachers are human as well. So we're not robots. So that means to say na I'll only be accepting messages and queries from you within office hours. So if you message me within the time of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and between 1 to 5 p.m., I'll do my very best to be able to reply to you as soon as I could. So any messages that you might send outside of office hours, maybe you have a question late at night that you really need to be answered, guys, and you really have to ask it already. Or you might want to ask it during the holidays ba or Saturday. So you're very free to message me pa rin via my FB Messenger. However, please take note that any messages that you send outside of office hours, so I will only entertain them in the next working day. So as soon as I could. And also, regarding consultation hours, in case that you're having difficulty with the subject and you need a little more guidance sa Chem, so we can always have some consultation naman. So we can set it provided that you request it from me and also that we have also agreed upon the time kung kailan natin pwede gawin ang consultation. Okay? More rules. So if for any reason you cannot join the sync session natin today, or you might have missed a quiz or exam, please always message the teacher immediately. That way, at least I know what's going on with you and hindi ako mag-wonder what's happening. Now, for this class, what you need to have are the following. You need to have your own scientific calculator and a copy of the textbook. So I've already sent a PDF copy ng ating textbook sa K-Hub. So it's posted there. You can just download it. So have these two on hand so you can participate in the class. And also, I understand naman na hindi naman chemistry lang nag-iisang subject natin, ano. We do have a lot of things we need to worry about. So what I'm thinking of doing, so all of your asynchronous tasks, your assignments, your formative assessments, and whatever else, I will be giving you 1 week to be able to answer. So you don't need to answer the formative na assessment within the day talaga dapat. So you can still be able to answer it up until Monday next week. And I will not be consider it late at all. So you're free to be able to answer it within the 1 week. 1 week window that I'm giving to you. So I hope in that way at least naman, medyo malighten rin ang ating load kahit papaano. Di naman tayo masyadong ma-stress. And also, very important, so students are expected to uphold the principles of academic honesty and fairness at all times. So cheating of any form will not be tolerated. Okay? So those are our 7 class rules, all in all, for our class. So at this point, let me turn over the floor to you guys. Do we have any questions ba regarding the class rules? Okay. By the way, feel free guys to turn on your mics if you want to ask questions, by the way. So if you like, you can always turn on your mics and your videos so that at least naman I could see your beautiful and handsome faces naman, kahit paano. Okay, so salamat sa feedback to our classmates. So I hope that one is clear. By the way, I will also be posting a copy of the PowerPoints sa K-Hub pa rin, just so you can use that to study as well. So the PowerPoint, pati itong recording natin, all of it will also be available on K-Hub. So that way, you can always access it at any time. Okay? You might also be interested to know how our grades will be computed, guys. So our grading system is as follows. Our quarter exam comprises 35% of the grade. So every quarter, you'll have a 1 hour long exam worth 35% of the total grade. Also, we'll have alternative assessments. So that's worth 40% of the total grade. So alternative assessments, so possible alternative assessments I'll be giving you would be long quiz. I'll also be giving you some activities you can do at home. Since nasa bahay lang naman tayo, we can't do any experiment. So I'll just be giving you some activities at home na in lieu of our experiments that we would do at home at our school if we were actually doing all of this face to face. So those are the different types of alternative assessments: home lab experiments, virtual experiments, and our long quiz. All of that will count for 40% of our total grade. And finally, all of our summative assessments and graded formative assessments, so they comprise 25% of our grade as well. So of that 25%, 40% of that goes into compliance, meaning you've submitted the formative assessment. And 60% ng 25% na iyon will go to your actual na score. So take note, you'll always have one long exam per quarter as described in our CRBL. Alternative assessment, I've already mentioned. So some lab activities might be given to you, papers, performance, practical exams, long quizzes, and the like. And finally, the summative assessments, these are the daily or weekly tasks that I'll be giving you at the end of each lesson. So that is how our grades will be computed for each quarter. Okay, at this point, let me also ask you guys, do we have any questions ba regarding how our grades will be computed? Okay, thank you to our classmates. Ayan, so medyo heavy tayo ngayon, ano? We started a little bit heavy right now, but let's lighten up the mood just a little bit. So I think I've already introduced myself to you naman. So at this point, let me now try to get to know you guys a little bit better naman. So since quite a lot of you I haven't yet met in person, so what we're gonna do, we'll just go over the people on our Google Meet today, and let's try to know a little bit more about them. So let's start with Aina Fresco. Did I pronounce that one correctly?
Hi, hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Can you introduce a little yourself, Aina? Just a little bit about yourself.
I am Aina Isabel F. Fresco.
Okay. Are you
I'm
related to
okay.
Sarah?
Ay,
Are are you okay?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, wow, I'm expecting a lot from you, ano? So, Sarah is really a very good student from last year. So, hello, Aina. Now,
Hello,
let's
sir.
try to
Hi, sir.
hear from Almer Juz Alzate. Almer, can you turn on your mic?
Hi, sir.
So, a little bit about yourself that you'd like to share with us, Almer.
A little bit about myself, sir, is because I ran.
Hmm, wala. Okay. Just when nag-share si Almer, nawala siya. Okay, sige na lang. Anyway, thank you, Almer, for that one. Nawala ka. But
Uh,
anyway,
Sige, sir.
sige raw, please. Can we hear a little bit about you?
Uh, I'm always trying my best, sir. Kahit like wala mo siya skill set, I'm always trying my best.
Ayan. Tama naman ano. It's always, what's important is not really what we know, but just being able to try. So good to know, Almer. So thank you, Almer, for that one. Good to hear from you. Next, can we have Angela Ortiz?
Hello po, sir.
Hello, Angela. Can you
Good
tell us a little
afternoon
bit about
po.
yourself?
My name is Angela Gwen Ortiz. You can call me Gwen or Z, just the letter Z. I like reading and sleeping.
Okay,
Yes.
very relatable content, Z. Sleeping. Sleeping talaga is very important. By any chance, meron ka bang ate sa Pisay SRC?
Kaka-graduate niya lang po nung 2020.
Okay. Meron kasi akong Ortiz rin na tawag nito, advisee in my grade 12. So any chance that
Um,
you're familiar with them?
mm, Dalawa lang yung kilala kong Ortiz, si Ate Barbie, tapos yung isa, hindi ko remember.
Ah, okay. No relation naman.
Wala po.
Okay. So good to
Thank you.
know, Z, that you're fond of sleeping. So I'm very
Hihi.
fond of sleeping as well. Okay, so thank you, Z, for that
Thank you
one.
po.
Can we have Beatrice next? Blanco floor.
Hi, sir. Uh, I'm Beatrice Angelique de Blancaflor, uh, classmate niya. Yes, I like I like anime, manhwa, and Genshin. Yes.
Wow, very interested in the arts si Beatrice. Ano, manhwa talaga is. Really something. So thank you so much, Beatrice. Good to hear from you today. Next up, can we have Albert Joff Buison?
Hello, sir. My
Hello, good
name.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Albert Jopes Boyson. I like to video games.
What particular video games, Joff?
Plants vs Zombies and Dark Souls.
ML.
Sir, I absolutely hate ML, sir. It's not a fun. It's not even fun at all, sir.
Okay. Boo! Joke. Joke
Outs.
lang. Joke, joke. Anyway, thank you, Albert. Nice to hear from you today. Can we have Gerard next? Gerard Dalasan. Gerard, are you with us today?
Oh, hello. Hello, sir. Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
can you introduce yourself to us?
Oh, I'm Gerard Benjamin Delasan. I like sleeping, eating. You can call me Gerard. Thank you.
Okay. Again, very relatable content, ano. Eating is really almost all that we can do when we're stuck at home. So thank you, Gerard, for gracing us with your voice today. Next up, can we hear, pakicorrect ako if I pronounce this one incorrectly, Zia
Hello po.
Ginov Desril.
Desiree
Tama ba
Zia.
pa-pronounce ko?
I'm Desiree
Okay.
Zia Hinove po.
Okay, Desril Zia. Okay, Henove. Henove.
You
Okay,
can call me po
Desril, can we
Des.
hear from you?
You can call me po Des, Zia, or Z. Anything you want po. And I also love sleeping.
Okay. Very relatable ang ating students today. So thank you, Desi, for that one. Can we have next si Daniel Aldrian Lubang? Daniel, are you with us today? Okay. Maybe Daniel is a little bit shy. Okay, di po gumagana ang mic. Okay, sorry to hear about that one. Anyway, sige na lang, let's move on to the next one. Can we have Florian Aguinaldo?
Hi, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon po. So, I'm Florian Aguinaldo. I love reading webtoon stories.
Okay. By any chance, are you interested in writing also your own webtoon stories?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Flory, for that one. Next up, we have Jade Anthony Peñolvo.
Hello sir, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Jade Antonico Piñolvo. You can call me Jadi and my hobbies are reading po.
Okay, wow. Very deep ang interests ni Jadi, ano? So thank you so much, Jadi, for that one. Can we have Jamir next? Jamir Usman.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. My hobbies include
Okay. Medyo mahangin ata kina Jamir today. By any chance, do you have any relatives ba sa higher years?
no, sir. Pero may mga Usman ako nakita pero hindi sila relatives, sir.
Okay. Meron kasi rin akong advice na Usman rin ngayon for grade 12. So thank you, Jamir, for that one.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, we have Jan Ayalde.
Hello, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sir, I like playing video games and watching anime.
Okay. Watching anime. What kind of anime in particular are you interested in?
Any anime, sir.
Any lang. Okay. So thank you so much, Jan, for that one. Can we have next? Paki-correct ako if tama aking pag-pronounce. Julia Rovi Frances Wahe.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
I'm Julia V. Frances Holiero Wahe po.
Okay.
I like sleeping, eating, anime. I like ice cream. Um,
Okay.
I like clouds. Yes.
That's very
Yun
nice
lang.
to know naman ano. So
And
thank you so
um,
much.
I'm not good in chemistry. Haha.
Okay. So challenge accepted ito for me. Ano? Dapat by the end of the school year, dapat maging good na si Julia in chemistry.
Yay.
Dapat lang.
Yes,
It should be a
sir.
challenge to us.
Thank
So thank
you.
you so much, Julia. Can we have also John Rubino as well? Can we hear from you, John? John Rubino? Okay, parang wala ata si John.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hi, John. Can we hear a little from you?
Good afternoon, sir. Kakapasok ko lang po kaya na-disconnect ako, sir.
It's okay. Anything you'd like to share to the
Um,
class about yourself?
um, so my name is John Borubino. Um, uh, about chemistry, I'm not really good
Okay.
at
Sige,
chemistry po.
salamat,
In
John Rubino. Can we have next? So we have a lot of Johns in our class. We have John Adriel Guanzon. Hi, John. Can we hear from you? Okay. So we didn't hear, but anyway. So thank you for that one. John, can we hear from you? Okay. Hindi ka marinig, sorry.
Hello, sir.
Hello, John.
Hello po. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is John Adriel Ogonzon. You can call me ADL or AIDS, as in the disease, ironically. And I like playing video games and watching anime, reading too, sometimes.
Okay. So thank you so much, AIDS, for that one. Good to know you. Can we have next si Kent Salazar?
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
My name is Ken Patrick Salazar. Currently, I love playing video games and I love reading mangas and manhwas.
Okay.
Yun lang po.
So thank you so much. I remember at this age, in particular, I was also very interested in manga as well. I can't remember na lang ano ba yung mga particular na binabasa ko. But anyway, thank you, Kent, for telling us about that. Can we have next, Kyla Lorelia?
Hello po, sir. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
I'm Kyla Rose Elorelia, and my recent hobbies are Netflix and tambay lang sa Twitter. Yun lang. Thank
Okay.
you.
What are you watching right now sa Netflix, Kyla?
Money Heist po.
Money
Marami
Heist.
po. Money
Wow.
Heist, How to Get Away with Murder, and Peaky Blinders po. Photo series.
Medyo kuyaw rin ang taste ni Kyla, ano? So thank you, Kyla, for that one. So we have next, Paul Salazar. Hello, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Hi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Ano, sir? I like games, sir. Tapos, ga Netflix po.
Okay. So, again, we do have similar interests in this particular class. So thank you, Paul. Can we have next, Phil Correct ako if tama ba ang pag-pronounce. Al, Phil
Alexander
Enrique.
po, sir.
Alexander, okay.
Alexander.
Okay.
So, hello, sir. Good afternoon. So I am Bill Alexander F. Enrique, and ang hobbies ko is sleeping. So, sleeping
Again, highly relatable content.
lalo na kapag nag-aulan, so maganda matulog.
Nako, delikado. Dito sa amin ngayon, medyo maulan. So
Sa
that
amin
means
din,
para
sir.
matutulog ka. Huwag ka matulog sa klase natin, ha?
Opo.
Okay. So thank you, Phil. Can we have next Rad Benedict Dapon?
Yes, sir.
Hello, can we hear from you? Anything
Okay,
you'd like to
so
share?
I like sleeping and eating and sleeping after eating. Yun, sir.
Okay. Highly relatable content from our classmates. So thank you, Rad, for that one. Next up, we have Chelsea Heather Rodriguez.
Sir, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
My name is Chelsea Heather C. Rodriguez, and my current interests are playing the guitar. Sometimes I make covers,
Wow.
read books when I have free time, and watch anime po. Okay, thank you.
Which artists are you particularly interested ngayon, Chelsea?
Various, sir, because I don't have a particular favorite genre. I keep exploring different kinds of music po to widen my knowledge about music, sir. Thank you.
Wow. Very nice from Chelsea. Thank you for that. Can we have our two Sophias, starting with Sophia Gwyneth Sanchez?
Hi po, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm Sofia Gonat Sanchez. Lately, I've been getting into manhwa and watching donghwas and reading Chinese novels.
Can you enlighten me? Ano ang Danwa? Sorry, I don't know what that
Donghua
is.
is like Chinese animation po, sir.
Okay. Wow. So thank you, Gwyneth. Can I call you Gwyneth para medyo maiba
Yes
kay
po, sir.
next Sophia? Okay. Thank you, Gwyneth, for that one. Can we have Sophia Clarice Saur? Tama ba pa-pronounce?
Saur po, sir. Good morning,
Saur.
sir. I am Sophie Clarice Saur. And then, interested po ako ngayon sa mga manhwa, especially action na mga manhwa and sleeping.
Okay, thank you so much. Can I call you Clarice? Para ma-differentiate kay other
Opo,
Sophia.
sir.
Okay, so thank you, Clarice, for that one. We have next Marcus Tan.
Hello po, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po, sir. I'm Achilles Marcus A. Tan po, and I'm interested in video games, going out, and playing sports.
Okay, thank you so much for that one. So we have the last two sa ating class. We have Vince Ruedas. So, hi Vince.
Hello po, sir. Good afternoon po, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hi, I'm Vince Joshin Eruedas, and I really love reading novels, manga, and manhwa. And I also love watching movies, TV series, and anime. Yan lang po.
What particular novel ang last mo nag-read, Vince?
I'm currently Insurgent po ako, sir, sa Divergent series.
Okay. So that's the second book.
Yes po, sir.
Malapit ka na matapos?
Middle pa po, sir.
Okay. So, happy reading to you, Vince. Can we have next, Yisha Isabella Aquino?
Hi po, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
My name is Isha Isabella Di Aquino, and you can call me Yish. My recent hobbies are reading, watching series or movies on Netflix, ganun.
I see. So thank you, Yish, for that one.
Ay,
So
sir,
meron ba ko? Yes, please.
magpa-regards po pala yung kapatid ko sa inyo, sir. Student niyo po siya
Sinong
sa
kapatid?
si Francis Jacob po, sir. Student niyo po sa MCM before.
Very small world. Pakihay na lang ako kay Jacob.
Okay po, sir.
Unta mo graduate na siya.
Unta jud, sir.
Anyway, so thank you, Yish, for that one. So meron ba akong hindi natawag sa ating class? So anybody na pass over ko? Wala naman. Okay, so good to hear from you guys. So I hope that I'll get to know you a little bit better as our school year passes. So I hope that together we'll be able to explore chemistry, that we'll have fun with it, and also learn a lot from it as well. So thank you so much for your sharing, guys. Now moving on to the next part ng ating session for today. So let's go into our lesson proper na. So for today, so we should be able to achieve the following targets, guys. So at the end of this module, we're expected to be able to achieve the following outcomes, namely, explain the first law of thermodynamics, define the internal energy, work and heat, and state the relationship between internal energy and work and heat. So those are our targets for this particular session. So earlier, what I did was I already shared with you our learning materials. I also prepared a video for you so that at least we have some background information na regarding our topic today. And also, the purpose ng video na iyon is so that what we do now sa ating mga synchronous sessions, so we don't really spend too much time na really discussing. So the videos that I share with you, the purpose is to introduce the topic already, lay out the topics, explain it to you, and then hopefully, sa ating session mismo, we'll just focus more on being able to expand on the topic, clarify whatever questions you might have, and also tackle some more examples para ma-deepen ang ating understanding. Okay? So I hope that you were able to watch the video I shared with you on K-Hub. So at this point, what I'd like to do now is I'd just like to test a little bit what you've learned watching the video that I shared with you sa K-Hub. So what I'd like you to do now is, using your mobile phone or any other device, kindly go to menti.com and please use the code 11267806. So this is for our activity for today. So can you please go to that one now? So currently, we're still waiting on participants. So please go to menti.com and use the code 11267806. So you could participate in our activity today. So we only have 2 people pa. We're still waiting for the rest to arrive. So 10 people already in. Okay, for the rest, kindly join now so you could participate. We're only 14 people pa in the Menti. So we're still waiting for 10 more people. So for the rest, kindly join now. We still need 10 more people to join. So maybe 1 minute more, and then we'll start already with the activity. So for the rest, kindly join now. Go to menti.com and use the code 11267806. Okay, so we're almost already full. Okay. So I think we're now ready to start with our activity now. So by the way, guys, so don't worry about this one. This is only for me to be able to assess how much you've learned from the learning materials and the video I shared with you. This one is not yet graded, so please don't feel bad if you don't do as well as you'd like to be able to do. So with that, I think we're now ready to start. So I'm going to start now the Menti, starting with question number 1. So first question, a system loses 354 joules of heat and at the same time it does 94 joules of work. So the question is, what is the sign of Q? Is it positive or is it negative? So you have 5 seconds to be able to answer. Okay, time's up. So 8 people answered positive, but the majority answered negative. So the correct answer here is negative. So congrats on the 15 who got the correct answer. So we'll talk a little more about the sign of Q later on in our session today. So next, let's have our question number 2. So for question number 2, so it's still the same na situation. So this time, what is now the sign of W? Is it positive or is it negative? Time's up. So again, the majority answered negative, and negative is the correct answer. So again, we'll tackle more the science of heat and work as we go on with our discussion for today. So congrats on the 14 who got the correct answer. So with that, we have the following. So question number 3. So you might want to have a calculator ready to be able to answer this one, since you're going to be asked to compute a particular value. So have your calculators ready. This is now question number 3. So for the same situation, losing 354 joules of heat, it also does 94 joules of work. So kindly now enter what is the change in internal energy of the system. So you have 15 seconds to answer this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. So let's check what the answer is. So we have a variety of answers, but the correct answer is negative 448 joule. Okay, so congrats on how many people got it. 5 people who got the correct answer. So for the 3 people who got negative 448, so please take note na we always write the unit of the answer. So it should be negative 448 joule. So congrats on those who got this one correctly. So at this point, let me now try to solicit your opinion. So what do you think surrounding means in thermodynamics? So please enter what your thoughts are as to what surrounding means in thermodynamics. So let's give ourselves a minute to be able to answer. Okay. So I think the majority is already answered with this one. So we're still waiting on the others to be able to answer as well. So the answers I'm seeing in here, so the largest amount of answers is surrounding is the space outside the system, things outside the system, everything outside the system, outside the boundary, outside of the boundary as well, area outside the system. So basically, that's the idea naman ano. When you have a system, the system is whatever we're trying to study, and everything else outside the system that comprises our surrounding. So basically, we got the correct idea naman for this one. So thank you for your opinions on what surrounding means. Now let's try to proceed to the next question. So you might want a calculator on the ready to be able to answer. Calculate the work if the system has net change of 0.5 kilojoule and gained 143 joules of heat. So we have 10 seconds to be able to answer. And time's up. So we have a variety of the answers, and the correct answer is 0.357 kilojoule. Also considered as correct answer would be 357 joule. So we have two people who got the correct answer, and one person who got also 357 joule. So congrats on the three who got the correct answer for this one. So next we have this one. So refer to your answer in the previous question. Our answer earlier was 357 joules. So basing on your answer, what does the sign of work indicate about its direction? Okay, so kindly please enter what you think about what it means when the sign of the work is positive. So ano kayang ibig sabihin yun, guys? Okay, so we have 13 people who already given their opinions on what the positive work means. So can we hear from the rest? So what do you think? Positive 357 joule. What does the positive sign indicate? So maybe 1 minute more so that the others can also join in. So what does it mean when you have positive work? Okay, so let's now try to wrap it up. So an overwhelming majority of the answers is positive. Also, I see answers here, work done on the system. It was done on the system, work done on the system, work is done by the system. So those are some of the answers that we have for this one. So again, we'll tackle more on ano ba talagang ibig sabihin when you have positive work, negative work, positive heat, and negative heat. So we'll tackle that one when we're done with this activity. So thank you for your opinions on that one. Now let's proceed to the last question. So you might want to have your calculators ready for question number 5. So have your calculators ready. Now let's have question number 5. So question number 5 is the following. A chemical system initially has 84 joules of internal energy. When heated at room temperature, it gained a net energy of 510 joule. Please calculate now the value of E final. So you have 15 seconds to be able to answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. So let's see what the answers are. So the correct answer here is 594 joule. So of our class, 8 people got that one correctly. So congrats on those who got the correct answer. Now let's try to see the tally of our scores. So of our class, so we have the highest point getter. So the highest one is Chelsea with 3,463 points. So congratulations, Chelsea, for getting the highest score for this activity. Also worth mentioning is Gwen with 3,153 points and Achilles with 3,074 points. So job well done, guys. So for those who got lesser points than our top point getters, so don't feel bad. Hopefully we'll do better when we do this one next time na naman with our next topic. So congratulations on a job well done, Chelsea, Gwen, Achilles, Isabella, Jade, and all the rest. Okay, so now let's go back to our PowerPoint now. So let's try to tackle our lesson at hand, which is the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, so now let's try to do the following. So in here, we have our internal energy. So internal energy, guys, you just simply define it as the sum of all the kinetic and potential energies of all the particles that are present in our system. The kinetic energy, it simply tells us the energy that is associated with the motion of our objects. Potential energy, on the other hand, is the energy that the particles possess by virtue of its position or chemical composition. So E, the internal energy, is equal to Ke and Pe. So internal energy, it can change from its initial value to the final value. Ang change ng internal energy, it is represented by the symbol delta E. So delta E is equal to E final minus E initial. So this equation number 2, this is what we use when we had question number 5 earlier in our activity. So for this one, we can just try to answer this one. So going back to our activity, so we had the following example. So let's try to be able to figure it out, how to answer. So initially daw, ang sabi is, our chemical system initially has 84 joules of internal energy. So what this means to say is that our E initial is equal to 84 joule. So 84 joules represents the total energy that our system has. So it's the energy that is present because our particles are all moving together, and also it represents in part ang energy associated with the chemical composition ng ating system. And sabi rin dito, when it was heated, it has already gained a net energy of 510 joule. So what this statement means to say, it gained a net energy of 510 joule. The 510 joule here represents our delta E. So let me type it in now. So the change in internal energy is 510 joule. And since sabi niya dito guys, the system has gained, it simply means to say na ang delta E natin tumaas. And pag tumaas ang delta E, we expect that its sign should be positive. So on the other hand, if sinabi sa problem, it has lost a net energy of 510 joule, the phrase it has lost simply means to say na ang delta E natin is gonna have a negative sign. So that should be our context clue as to what the sign of delta E is on our system. So basing on our equation number 2 in here, according to equation number 2, delta E is equal to E final minus E initial. So you can just plug in the values now. So delta E is equal to 510 joule. Let me correct this one. So it gained a net energy of 510 joule. So substituting the values, we get 510 is equal to the final internal energy minus the initial internal energy. So you can see in here na ang ating unknown is the E final. So to solve for E final, what you do is you just simply transpose the negative 84 joule to the other side. So transposing that gives us this one. So E final. So can you please compute for me, guys? Using your calculator, how much will now be E final? Okay, Sandra with the answer. Also Ken. How about the rest? Can we hear from you guys? Okay, Yisha AIDS also has his answer. So basically, we all agree that this one, same with Clarice, Alexander, Kyla, Jamir, Chelsea, Gwen, Kauri as well, Vince, and Daniel. So Kauri, please don't forget the unit always. So our final answer is going to be 594 joule. So that is the final internal energy of the system. So compared with the initial value niya, what it means to say is that ang ating system, nadagdagan siya ng energy. How our system has gained some energy, it was due to the fact na it was already heated. So actually, the way that our system works, it already has internal energy of its own. But when you try to transfer energy into or out of the system, ang value ng internal energy pwedeng magbago. Galing sa initial value na 84, pwede siyang tumaas into 594. Pwede ring baliktad, so the system might have lost some energy, and so the final na internal energy is less than the original. So the way, guys, in which the system could lose or gain energy is via heat and work. So let's try to see what the difference is between the two. Ang heat, or Q, The heat is the energy transferred to the system and the surroundings, and it results due to a temperature difference. So every time that you have a hot object and a cold object, and they are in contact with one another, so for instance, you might have a very hot cup of coffee and you're touching it with your hand, so the heat from your hot coffee will now transfer into your hand. So that is how our heat works. So it always transfers itself in the direction from the hotter object to the colder object. And what happens when the heat is being transferred from the hotter object to the colder one is that over time, my hand and the coffee will now go into the same temperature. So as time goes by, both objects are expected to have the same temperature. So that's just one way that our energy rather, can be transferred. So in the form of heat. Now another way in which the energy can be transferred from the system to the surroundings, or vice versa, is by work. So work here, it's being defined as the energy transferred when an object, which is part of the surroundings, is moved by a force. So in our daily lives, there are several examples of work that we commonly encounter. So for example, when you blow up your helium balloon, when you add helium to it, so as it expands, the balloon natin, it exerts work and it's pushing against the atmosphere natin. So that's one example of work. Another example of work is the energy associated with the sound that we make. So every time that I make a sound, when I talk, so that energy that my throat makes, it disturbs the air all around me. And that disturbance in the air, that is what you're now able to intercept in your ear as sound. So that's yet another example of work. So work is the energy associated by motion of another object. So these are the two ways by which the internal energy could change: by the addition or removal of heat, or by the performance of work. So itong heat and work natin, it's now related to the change in internal energy of our system. And the way that it is related is stated by the first law of thermodynamics. So equation 3 that you see in here, this is the mathematical form of the first law of thermodynamics, and it simply states to us that the total change in the system's internal energy is simply the sum of the energy transferred as heat and or work. So the first law of thermodynamics, it simply follows from the law of conservation of energy that you've already tackled in Chem 1. So if you might recall, the law of conservation of energy, it simply tells us that energy can be converted from one form to another, but it cannot be created or destroyed. So every time that you're interested to know how much does the energy of the system change, you just have to quantify how much heat is being transferred and how much work has been performed. And from the first law, you can already compute the delta E. So going into the next slide, we have the following. So we follow some sign conventions for Q, for W, and delta E whenever we try to analyze a system and its energy transfers. So if you're talking about heat, ang heat natin could be positive if our system is being heated. Pag nagiging mainit ang system, then we are sure na nadadagdagan ang energy niya. However, when our system is losing heat to the surroundings, so it has energy going out of the system and going to the surrounding. Kaya naging negative ang ating Q. And likewise, when you're talking about work, our work is going to be positive when work is being done on the system. Work will be negative when work is being done by the system. So what does this mean? Ano bang meaning ng work done on the system and work done by the system? So you might have, let's say, you have a sample of gas that's is in a container, or pwede na lang, just so we have something that's more familiar to us, you might have, let's say, your helium gas inside the balloon. Now, if you try to squeeze our helium balloon, what's going to happen is you're going to exert some energy and you're going to force our helium gas inside the balloon together. So basically, what's happening is your hand is pushing against the balloon and your hand is performing the work. So ang nangyayari, si balloon, it has work being done on it by the hand. And if you have the opposite, if let's say you have a balloon that is expanding in my hands, so as it expands, what's happening here is the balloon is pushing away and is pushing rather against my hand. So what this means to say is, si system na ngayon, which is the helium gas, siya na ngayon ang nagpo-perform ng work. That's what you mean na by work being done by the system. So when work is being done on the system by something outside, positive ang work. When work is being done by the system on something outside, that is when you have negative work. And finally, we have delta E. So delta E has a sign. It can be positive or it can also be negative. Positive delta E, it simply tells us that energy is being gained by the system. And when you have negative delta E, it simply means to say that our system has lost energy to the surroundings. So let's try the following. So you have this particular example. So I've already had this one in our video that I've shared with you earlier. So in example 1, a process now absorbs 350 kilojoules of heat. Let's try to analyze this one first. Sorry. Okay. So let's try to analyze the phrase absorbs 350 kilojoules of heat. So basing on that phrase, What do you think? Is heat positive or is it negative? Pag nag-absorb ng heat. So any idea what the answer should be? So you can turn on your mic or just type on the chat box. So what is the sign of Q? Since sabi dito, absorbs 350 kilojoule of heat. So we have our answers coming in. Kent, Clarice, Marcus, Sandra also, Julia, Vince. So all of us seem to agree that the answer here should be positive. Yisha also says that it is positive. So that's correct. Our Q should be positive in sign. Positive siya because, as stated in here, when the system gains heat, ang Q natin will always be positive. Gain one particular na, tawag nito, similar word to it would be absorbing. That's why we say that Q is positive in sign. Now, moving on to the next part ng ating problem na iyon. The next part, sabi dito is, the process performs 200 kilojoules of work. So, performs 200 kilojoules of work. What do you think? What should be the sign of work? Is it positive or is it negative? Okay, and the answers are all coming in. For Clarice, Chelsea, Julia, Beatrice, Jamir, Kyla, Marcus, Yish, Kent. So all of us seem to agree na it's negative. AIDS also tells us that it's negative. So that is correct. So our work is negative in sign. So why is that one? It's because, if we go back here, ang sabi dito, our work will always be negative if the work is being done by the system. Done by the system meaning, it's the system that is performing the work. So that's the reason why our value here should be negative C, work na mayroon tayo. Now finally, we're going to be asked, what is now the change in internal energy of the system? So can you please compute for me now, how much will be the total work? Total internal energy change rather. Sorry. So you can turn on your mic if you like, or if mas convenient sa inyo, you can also type as well. How much ba ang change in internal energy? Again, please don't forget the unit. And the answers are coming in. Excuse me. So we have a ton of answers telling us that the answer is 150 kilojoule. So with that, I agree naman. So our answer here, so we compute the answer based on our equation number 3. Balik tayo sa equation number 3. So delta E is equal to Q, that's positive, plus our work, which is negative. So that if we now enter our values into equation number 3, we now have the following. So Q is coming in, kaya siya positive. Work is being performed, kaya siya negative. And our answer is the following. So congrats and good job on those who got the correct answer. So we have positive 150 kilojoules of work. Okay. So in this example, so let me turn it over to you guys. Na-follow lang ba? Gets lang or are there any questions?
That's possible.
Okay, thank you. Sige, so I think we'll try yet another example na naman. So this one, thank you also Chelsea for the feedback. We have example number 2. So for number 2, sabi dito, it takes 250 kilojoules of work to compress a sample of gas. As it is being compressed, 100 kilojoules of heat is also being removed. So the question now is, what is the change in internal energy of the system? So can you please type your answer in the chat box for me? Or pwede rin naman i-state if you like. And our answers are all coming in. So most of the class seem to have an answer of 150 kilojoule. Let's try to see what the correct answer is. So when you say compress a sample of gas, so what it means to say is there is something outside ng ating gas that is pressing down on it. And as it is pressing down, work is being done on the system. And also, 100 kilojoules of heat is also being removed. So in here, we have the following. Ang Q natin, since being removed siya, it should be negative in sign. And our work, since it is being compressed, it should be positive in sign. So our answers are all correct. The answer here should be positive 150 kilojoule. So nice job on you guys for getting the correct answer for this one. So again, let me turn it over to you. Nagets lang ba how to solve example number 2? Okay, Sandra says yes. How about the rest? So Yish, Kent, Jalea, Daniel. Okay, Clarice, Gwyneth, Jamir also, Chelsea and Kyla. Very yes, double yes. Vince. Okay, so thank you for your feedback. So that is how we use our first law of thermodynamics to be able to determine how the energy in our system changes. So to summarize what we've learned in this particular module, we have the following. So in this topic, we've learned about internal energy, which is the sum of kinetic and potential energies of all of its particles. Kinetic energy, it's talking about the energy of motion of our particles in the system. Potential energy, it's the energy that the particles possess by virtue of its position or chemical composition. Now, when you're talking about heat, heat is energy transferred as a result of a temperature difference. Hotter object always transfers heat to the colder object. So that in time, as you let it go by, ang hot object and cold object will now get into the same temperature. Meanwhile, our work, it's the energy transferred when an object that's part of the surroundings is moved by a force. A common example of it would be the work needed to move an object, such as when pushing or pulling, or the sound waves that are produced whenever somebody talks. We also learned that our delta E, our Q and W have signs. So it could be positive or negative, depending on how that energy is being transferred. And it is summarized as follows. Positive Q gains heat, negative Q loses heat, positive W, work done on, and negative W, work done by the system. And also, internal energy could be positive if the energy transfer increases the total internal energy or the final internal energy. And delta E should be negative in sign when the internal energy na final is lower than the initial value. And all of this is tied into our first law of thermodynamics, which states that delta E is equal to Q plus W. So basically, that's what we've learned for today. So any more questions, clarifications, or any comments you'd like to bring up at this point, guys? Okay. So none naman. So once again, if you haven't yet done so, please go to the link ng ating attendance for today. So kindly fill that one up. I'm resending it to you again. So please fill that up so that I know that you're present today. So thank you so much for attending our session today. I hope you've learned something from our session. And once again, reminder lang, ang formative assessment today, it is due Monday next week. So you can try it as many times as you like until you get a perfect score. So no deductions will be given, and you're free to be able to do it up until Monday next week. So any more final parting words from you guys before we go?
I think na po, sir.
Okay, so once again, thank you so much, Ken, and everybody else for participating today. So I hope you have a great week ahead of you. Please stay safe always, and I'll see you again next week.
Thank you, sir.
Bye po,
Thank you
bye
po,
po.
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Goodbye.
Sir.
Bye,
Bye po, sir.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Sana masarap ang ating ulam.